deliverance from distress. Amen. 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 Thank you, Urshus. Thank you so much. Deliverance from distress. There are a number of opinions as to who wrote or penned this psalm. Some have said that this psalm was penned by a wandering Levite who was obviously in some form of captivity, who had once been very much a part of worship unto God, but because of the circumstance he was in, he no longer could make it to the temple. Others have suggested that this psalm was written by David because of the fact of the type of trouble that's mentioned in this psalm. Some figure that it was probably David because of the Davidic tones and language that is used in this psalm. Some have even gone so far to say that this psalm was possibly written by King Hezekiah, who was facing double trouble at a point in his life. He had become sick. Isaiah had told him to set his house in order, that he would die and not live. And at the same time, the Syrians were threatening to take over Judah. And some believe that this psalm is probably the work of or written for King Hezekiah. Others have even gone so far to say that this psalm was written by one of the sons of Korah. Korah was one who rebelled against God and Moses when Israel was journeying through the wilderness. And because of Korah's rebellion and his disobedience and those who were following him, the earth opened up and they were swallowed. And now his descendants, his sons, who have a different attitude than their father, who have a different mentality than their daddy, has come to trust God, love God, and obey God. And they were songsters and musicians, and they were counted on and placed in place to lead in giving praise unto God. Well, brothers and sisters, I don't know who wrote this song, but one thing I do know, whoever wrote this song was obviously in distress. They were in trouble. They were somewhat disappointed and disgusted. If you notice the tenor and the tone of this psalm, they were obviously depressed. They were in despair. The writer of this psalm, my brothers and sisters, shares with us and lets us know that they were amid a difficult time. And as I look at this psalm, I see three things briefly that I want to try to lift from the verses of this psalm. Since the psalmist is reporting his distress, that's where I want to start. That he reports the distress that he's in. He makes it known to us that he is in some kind of distress. Listen to him as he says, like a deer who is panting for water from a water brook. I am so thirsty for God. I'm looking for God. I want God as bad as a deer is thirsty for water. My soul is thirsty for God. And he says, I'm looking for him because of the trouble that I'm in. And he says, he raises the question and said, when shall I come and appear before God? he speaks as if he has, to some degree, been cut off from being in God's presence. He goes on to say that my tears have been my meat day and night. The trouble that he's going through, the distress that he's in has obviously brought tears to his eyes. And listen, you know, this psalm, as we read this psalm alone, there, in many respects, we can relate to a lot of what he's talking about. Some of us in here know what it's like to be in trouble to the point to where it'll bring tears to your eyes. He says, my tears have been my meat day and night. Whatever was going on in his life had robbed him of his appetite. Yes, he was crying day and night. He says, look, he says, I miss God. I miss being in the house of God. In verse 4, he says, look, I remember there were times when I went with the multitude. We went up to the Lord's house with joy and with praise as we kept holy day. And he speaks as if he has been deprived from going back to church. Whatever's going on, it has kept him away from church. Let me pause and say that's why you ought to go to church as much as you can. Go to church while you can, because you don't know what lies ahead in your life. Circumstances and situations will come up in your life that may keep you from coming. He wants to come, but for some reason he can't get there, and he is amid tough times. And that's why we ought to get all the churches we can get, because tough times are coming. I remember when in Genesis chapter 41, when Joseph was in Egypt, and you know how God had brought Joseph out of the prison house in Egypt and put him before Pharaoh to interpret the Pharaoh's dream. And you remember how Joseph told him that dream you had of those fat cows and those lean cows mean that you're going to have years of plenty followed by years of famine. You're going to have 7 years of plenty followed by 7 years of famine. And he said, I want to make a suggestion. During the 7 years of plenty, build some storehouses so you can store up some food, so that when the 7 years of famine come, you got something you can lean on. And the Pharaoh followed Joseph's advice. And I learned from that. What I learned is, while things are well with you, while you can go to church, listen to the preacher, get you some teaching, get all you can, and store it up in the storehouse of your heart. Because some lean days are coming. Some times are coming when you're going to want to come, and you can't come. But if those times, and when those times come, you'll have something in your storehouse that can help you to make it through the low time. So it's obvious he's been deprived. He's been cut off from church. And you know, we're living in a day and time where a lot of folk just walking away from church. Listen, don't you be that foolish. Don't you walk away from church. Don't you turn your back on church, because you need church. You need the people of God, and you need to come and hear the preacher. The Bible says, how can you hear without a preacher? Yes, my brothers and sisters, so he's been deprived, and he misses it. He misses being in worship. And add to that, the text lets me know he reports that his enemies are mocking him. They're talking about him. They realize what trouble he's going through, and they're picking at him saying, where's your God? You always singing, I will trust in the Lord. Where is it? If your God is so mighty, then why are you hurting like you're hurting? You say your God is a provider of everything. Why are you in need? where is your God? If your God is a healer, why are you still sick? Are y'all praying with me? If your God is a God of peace, why come there's so much confusion in your house? Where your God? Where is it? Is he gone on vacation? Has he left you? Where is your God? He said, they're picking at me. They mocking me. He reports his distress. He tells us that he is in distress. Distress is something that can happen to anybody. Just because we love the Lord don't mean we won't ever be in distress. Just because we come to church won't keep us out of distress. It'll come your way, and so he reports it. He talks about it. He said, look here. He said, this thing is getting to me. And so he reports it, and then he repeats it again when you get to verse 6. Now he talks about how he's cast down in verse 5. You see, we read that way. He said, why are you cast down, oh my soul? He admits that he's down in the dumps with the blues. He's got the blues. He's down in the dumps, and he admits that he asked himself, why are you so upset? He's upset, and then he talks as if that I'm gonna come out of this thing in verse 5. But in verse 6, he's right back again where he was. He said, oh my God, my soul is cast down within me. One moment he's talking like everything gonna be fine. The next minute he's talking like, Lord, here we go again. Yeah. And sometimes we two are back and forth. Sometimes we two are up and down. One week we're talking good about God. We talk like we're on the mountain, but a couple of weeks later we find ourselves moping in a valley. We just back and forth. We got strong faith on one weekend and no faith on the next week. We're back and forth. And so somewhere between verse 5 and 6, something else went wrong, and he's back down again. And he says, look, here we go again. He goes so far to say, look, I'm even overwhelmed when he talks about how everything, the waves and the billows are going over me. That's overwhelming language he uses. He talks about how his troubles have piled up in his life, how he's in over his head. Oh, y'all listen to me. He admits, look, there's a whole lot of stuff going on. It's more than I can handle. It's more than I can deal with on our own. He says, I'm overwhelmed by what's happening to me. Look at it. I feel like I'm not where I want to be. And then I got all this on me. And he says, look, I'm down in the dumps with the blues. And I'm upset. And I'm even mourning. I've even begun to question God. I feel like God has forsaken me. Why hadn't God come to my rescue? I'm almost through, but anybody ever felt that way? Felt like God has forgotten about you. Felt like God has turned his back on you. Felt like God has turned a deaf ear to you. Look here, if God is who he is, why am I still in this mess? If God is who he is, why don't he rescue me? Why don't he heal me? Why don't he help me pay off my bills? I see folk who come in the money who don't even go to church. And here I am, I go to church all the time and I'm barely making it. Why won't he come see about me? He says my enemies are giving me a hard time. He said, look at them. They talking about me. They making fun of me. He said, look at it now. Just look at them. They always talking about how much they love the Lord. Look at the stuff that's going on with them. Something ain't right. Can y'all hear them talking? Yeah, we watching y'all. The enemy said we watching you. The devil has always got somebody watching you. he seeks to discourage you. He wants to deceive you and distract you. And he says, look at you. He says, you're down and out. You got to admit, there are times, brothers and sisters, there are times where we find ourselves with the blues. There are times we have a pity party. There are times we find ourselves moping and we find ourselves not in the mood. Preacher, look here, don't try to get me to say amen this morning because I ain't feeling it. Don't look at me funny if I'm not singing because it's one of those Sundays where I ain't up to it. Don't try to get me to high five nobody because I ain't high fiving nobody. We sometimes, there are some Sundays, as quiet as we may keep it, some Sundays we ain't up to it. Some Sundays, if we really would be honest, some Sundays we act like we don't even want to be bothered. Look, I'm going. Look, I barely made it here. I don't need nobody. I ain't got time to hug nobody. I don't want nobody hugging on me. Don't be kissing my jaw. Don't be trying to hold my hand. If I'm crying, I don't want no urge to come to me with no fan, with no tissue. Don't be bothering me. Are y'all listening to me? Look, go to somebody else because I ain't for it. You know, as soon as I see the urge to come out, I say, no. Don't come here. Don't leave me alone. I don't need no tissue. If I got something in my pocket, I don't need no tissue. I don't want to be bothered. This morning, are y'all praying with me? Praying with me. Look, me and my wife just got, some people might say, look, me and my wife just got into it this morning on our way to church. And I almost jumped out the car and said, go on. You know, look, I got back in, we made it, but look, it wasn't easy. I didn't say that happened to me, I said some folks. Gotta clear that up. You know, some folks go through that. Some folks go through that. You know, I'm down enough, my child just got arrested. Look, don't ask me to lead no song. I don't want to sing. Don't bother me. Down in the dumps. Oh, y'all listen to me. Down in the dumps. Look, don't say nothing about my hair. You better not say nothing about it. I know I had this on last Sunday. Don't you mess with me, because look, I ain't for it today. When we down in the dumps, you understand what I'm saying? And sometimes we tend to act a little out of character when things are not going right for us. Are y'all listening to me? But the psalmist said, look, they were talking about me, but I didn't retaliate and start talking about them. You know, they were messing with me, and they were on me, and I got to admit I was having a rough time. Well, what do you do? What do you do? What do you do when you're in despair? What do you do when you're down in the dumps? What do you do? He says, he lets me know here, there are some things I did. He said, look here, whenever you're in despair, you got to know that there's a way to be delivered. And one thing he lets me know here in the psalm you got to do is you got to keep talking to God. Don't cut off your communication with God. As a matter of fact, if you look at the psalm, he began the psalm by talking to God. He says, as a heart panteth after the water brook, so panteth my soul after thee, O God. He's talking to God. When you get down to verse 6, he said, oh my God, my soul is cast down within me. Therefore will I remember thee from the land of Jordan and of the Hermonite, from the hill Mizar. He said, deep calleth unto deep, at the noise of thy waters pass all thy ways, and thy billows are gone over me. He's talking to God. He even testifies in verse 9. He says, I'm going to say to God, my rock, why hast thou forgotten me? And why go I mourning because of the oppression of my enemies? Yes, he lets me know if you're going to make it through, you got to keep talking to God. Don't you give up on God. Don't you cut out communication with God. He said you got to keep on praying. He lets me know in the latter portion of verse 8, and my prayer unto the God of my life. He's going to stay in touch with God. Keep talking even when it seems like God is nowhere around. You got to keep calling him. Keep on praying. Yeah, he said, teach me, first of all, keep talking to God. Secondly, he said, keep talking to others. Now, he said, now listen, you already know where your enemies stand, but talk to some folk who are believers like you. Talk to some folk who can tell you something good and positive to do. Because if you look at the text, you can see that he talks to God and then he speaks as though he's talking to other listeners. He said, my soul thirsted for God, for the living God. When shall I come and appear before God? He said, my tears have been my meat day and night, while they continually say to me, where is your God? He said, when I remember these things, I pour out my soul in me, for I had gone with the mother. He's talking to others. And listen, when things go rough in your life, don't cut yourself off from everybody. Yeah, don't put everybody in the same category. Yeah, just because there are some people who are talking negative about you, everybody's not talking negative about you. You can't put everybody in the same category. Are y'all listening to me? Just because some folk act funny with you, don't treat everybody like they all acting funny with you. You can't put everybody in the same boat. You got to know that there are some folk who are willing to listen to you. There are some folk who will listen to you who won't think negative of you, who are not so quick to judge you. Yeah, some people who are willing to listen. Well, let me tell you something. It means something when you can have folk who will listen to you. You know, sometimes some of us, we all know it. Can't nobody talk to us without us. Well, wait a minute, baby. Now, let me tell you this. This is what you need to do. We got answers for everything. You know, sometimes we just need to listen. You know what I'm saying? Just listen to what a person has to say. And if you just listen, sometimes people, they want to talk to you not because they want some advice. Sometimes they just want to talk to somebody who will just listen. Oh, y'all listen to me. And when they get through talking, they say, you know, I've already answered I know I'm supposed to do. I know I'm supposed to trust in God. You know, but I feel better just having talked to you about it. Thank you for listening. I can't count the number of times folks say, thank you, preacher, just for listening. Sometimes folks just need somebody who will listen to what they have to say. Just listen. As a matter of fact, you can't really address somebody about their situation if you don't listen. You got to listen to what they have to say. You know, who goes to see a doctor? You walk in the office and doctor assumes what's wrong with you. He just met you just met him, and he's gonna come in the office, gonna grab a deal, give you a shot. So wait a minute. Why you got that needle? I'm gonna give you a shot. Well, you don't even know what's wrong with me. I am telling you what my trouble is. You gonna already give me a shot? Oh, well, what's the problem? Never mind. You need to communicate, listen to somebody before you can diagnose the situation. And sometimes, even when you know, you don't need to say nothing sometimes. So look here, let me pray with you about this thing, because most of the time they're going to answer their own question. I mean, that's what happened here in the Psalm. He was talking about his situation, but he ended up coming up with the answer to his own problem. He knew what he needed to do. And he said, first of all, I'm going to talk to God, I'm going to keep talking to others, but then I'm going to talk to myself. Did y'all notice he was talking to himself? Now, everybody's not crazy that talk to themselves. And the way he talks here, he said, look, why am I so cast down? He examines himself. See, am I the cause of this issue that I'm in? Sometimes we need to examine ourselves. See if we're doing something that's making matters worse. Or is it because of something that we're not doing that we should be doing that's making matters worse? We need to examine, am I getting myself in this mess all the time? Is it me? Is it me? What am I doing that's keeping me down and out? What am I doing? It's not so much all the time what folk do to me, it's what I'm doing to me. He says, why are you cast down? Oh my. So why are you upset? Why are you so depressed? And then he goes on to tell us, my brothers and sisters, that he hasn't made up mind. He gonna keep God in his mind. He gonna keep himself in position where he can stay focused on God. That's what you gotta do. You gotta keep God on your mind. He said, I remember you from the land of Jordan. Say, even where I am, I'm gonna be thinking about you. I'm gonna keep you on my mind. I'm gonna keep my eyes on you. Yes, he says, because another thing I'm gonna do, in spite of what's going on, I'm gonna keep my hope in you. That's why he said to himself, hope in God. Yes, he says, I'm going to keep my hope in God. I know that God going to get me through this. That's why he says, look here, I shall yet praise him for the help of his countenance. Lets me know that he's expecting God to come through for him. And that's what I want to tell you this morning, whatever's going on in your life. If you got trouble on your hands, if you're burdened down about something, I want to encourage you, keep your hope in God. And you keep looking for God to come through on your behalf. Yes, every day you ought to live expecting God to respond to your cry. He says, yes, I'm going to keep my hope in God. Even though they're saying, where is your God? He says, I made up in my mind, I'm going to keep my hope in God. You can't shake my confidence because I'm still in distress. You can't make me turn away from my God because I'm still in trouble. You can't make me give up on God because my situation has not changed. He said, I'm going to keep my hope in God. And I come to tell you in here this morning, don't you let nobody change your mind about trusting in God. No matter what the trouble is, you keep your hand in God's hand. Yes, they challenge him by saying, where is your God? And he said, I'm going to keep my hope in God because he knew that God was still available. Yes, whenever the devil tried to mess with you, asking you, where is your God? Then you need to tell him, first of all, my God is above me. Yes, he's over me, looking out for me. Yes, he's God in heaven and in earth. Yes, he's over me because he said my ways are higher than your ways. And my thoughts are higher than your thoughts. Yes, so God first of all is above me. But then secondly, God is around me. Yes, the Bible says, as the mountains of the Lord are around Jerusalem, so the Lord is around them that fear him. Yes, I know God is around me because his angels keep watching over me. Yes, I know God is around me because he's still protecting me. Yes, I know he's around me because he's still, yes, looking out for me. Have I got a witness? So God is above me and God is around me. Yes, but then God is still in front of me. Yes, he walks in front of us by night and by day. Yes, he's in front of me. Yes, making the crooked become straight. Yes, he's in front of me, lowering mountains in the valleys. Yes, the Lord is in front of us. Yes, but then God is behind us. Have I got a witness? David said, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. That's God behind me. He's behind me, keeping my past from catching up with me. He's behind me, cleaning up my mess-ups. Ain't God alright? Where is God? You better know he is behind you. Yes, but then God is under you. Have I got a witness? I hear him saying, no man can pluck you out of my hand. Yes, he said, unto you is the Lord's everlasting arms. Hang on, all right. I know he's under us because he said, now unto him who is able to keep you from falling. Yes, the Lord is under you, but then God is with you. Hang on, all right. I heard him say, I'll never leave you nor forsake you. Ain't God alright? He said, lo, I'm with you all the way. Yeah, but then God is inside of us. Ain't God alright? Well, if I go to prove here, somebody might be saying, how do you know God is on the inside of you? Well, one day, little Jimmy was out flying a kite, and little Jimmy got on top of a hill, and he was flying his kite, and some low clouds moved in. Yeah, little Jimmy gave the kite more string. He let it out some more, and you couldn't see the kite no more because it was up in the clouds. Yeah, some deacons came through and they said, little Jimmy, why you holding the string? Little Jimmy said, deacon, I'm flying a kite. Deacon said, well, Jimmy, I don't see no kite. Yeah, Jimmy said, deacon, I'm flying a kite. And the reason why I know I'm still flying the kite, every now and then I can feel a tugging on the string. Ain't God alright? You ask me today, how do you know you got Jesus on the inside? Yes, every now and then I can feel it moving down in my heart. Ain't God alright? Anybody here don't mind testifying? He's moving on the inside. Ain't God alright? And when God is on the God who's able to deliver. Won't he do it? Yeah! Yeah! Ah, yeah! He will deliver. He'll deliver. Don't you give up. Don't throw in the towel. You keep your hand in God's hand. God will see you through. Won't he do it? Somebody say, well, it's gloomy here. Get close to Christmas. I'm upset. I'm disappointed. I'm hurt because some people who used to be with me no longer here. I understand that, but I stopped by to tell you, you're still here for a reason. And what you need to do is lift up your heads, lift up your hands, and tell the Lord, thank you. I'm still here. Thank you that you're still blessing me. Thank you. You're still walking with me. Thank you. You're still keeping me. Thank you for what you gave for me out on a hill called Calvary. He died. Didn't he die? Buried him in a borrowed tomb. But early Sunday morning, he rose